what I'm doing.
We need it.
And I'm pretty good at it too. All right, I'll see you in there.
All
right, thanks, man.
What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to Grim. This kid's mom is seriously lost on what to do with her son, who seems to be breaking laws left and right. Keep watching to see if she's going to be able to get help from Dr. Phil today, because if not, this kid might be going to juvie soon, to be honest. Without further ado, let's meet this kid and see if he's as bad as his mom says he is.
I've never done this before. I wanted to talk to you before we go in there, so I thought we'd just take a ride. Hop in.
Bruh, Dr. Phil is pulling up with the golf cart right away and is about to just interview this kid, I guess, while he's driving around like he's James Corden doing carpool karaoke or something. I guess the GOAT Dr. Phil is going to switch it up today. You know, it's nice to see him not just interviewing like normal. And instead of letting this kid get grilled on stage, he's just going to talk to him while he drives around the studio a lot, I guess.
I got a real problem with what your mother calls parenting.
Yeah, she's really not a good parent.
Dang, dude, Dr. Phil is on this kid's side, it sounds like, which I wasn't expecting. You know, usually he just harps on these kids that are kind of being punks and breaking a lot of laws. Instead, he just admitted that he also dislikes the way that this kid's mother has been raising him, which is a big issue, apparently. You know, she has not been very involved in this kid's life, and neither has his father. And he supports this kid because he realizes that it's kind of messing this kid up, you know, the way his mother's taking care of him. So what he does point out, though, is how this kid reacts, and that's the not cool part of this situation, basically. Apparently, he freaks out just like every other bratty kid that we've seen on this show. You know, he just cusses and tries to fight back, but instead, he should try to take a more calm approach, you know, so that things don't get so out of hand, but that's a lot easier said than done. This reminds me of when you have to talk to your principal, though, you know, at school, and he's just trying to be buddy-buddy with you. Like, stop, bro, just tell me what trouble I'm in and let me go on my way, all right? We're not friends. You're just making this situation way more awkward than it needs to be.
Like shooting off a gun and stuff like that.
That wasn't towards her, that was just something that went down, because I got shot at and...
Dude, Dr. Phil, I was just shooting back, you know? I live in real life Call of Duty, basically, and have a gun for some reason, so I was simply returning fire. Yeah, I didn't know my mom was almost caught in the crossfire, and it would suck if she got hit, but like, you know, it's not like I would have hit her, bro. I'm a really good shot, okay? For real though, when Dr. Phil was saying that he didn't like how this kid reacted, I really wasn't expecting him to have shot towards his own mom. Like, that does seem to be a step too far, don't you think? I mean, if so, I can kind of see why this mom is thinking of having him arrested, or I don't really know the full situation. We're going to get into that later, but she's basically been trying to write up a bunch of reports so that he gets arrested. I don't know how that whole thing works, but yeah, it sounds like it's a not good situation, and it makes sense if he's straight up shooting towards her. I would be doing the same thing.
If she can change her attitude, then I'll change. I'll stop doing what I'm doing, because she's the reason I'm doing it, trying to get her attention.
So in this kid's own eyes, the reason he's acting out is because he simply doesn't get any attention from his mom at all, and it kind of sounds like his father is completely out of the picture too. So it really comes down to this kid just wanting some love and affection from a parent. So he's lashing out and trying to get his mom's attention by doing that. And since he's grown up, that's been the only way that he knows to relate to her or to even get her interest. You know, it's pretty sad to see, but I've seen that before, and it's the reason a lot of kids start acting up, especially in their teenage years.
I got sons. I'm doing with you exactly what I would hope somebody would do with one of my sons if they were in the same situation.
Wow, it sounds like this kid's story really struck a chord with Dr. Phil today, and I think that's why he took him on this really awkward trip around the studio lot. He's just trying to get through to this guy because he's seen rambunctious kids before, and this kid probably reminds him a lot of his sons when they were that age. You know, kids can be punks sometimes, besides all the shooting, of course. I don't think Dr. Phil's kids were ever shooting towards their mom, but you know, I really think he's going to want to see this kid have a better outcome than jail for life, because that's kind of what it's looking like, at least for his life trajectory at this point, you know. But that's, of course, unless someone like Dr. Phil comes along and changes that. So hopefully that's what happens today.
I know what I'm doing.
We need it.
And I'm pretty good at it too. All right, I'll see you in there. All right, thanks, man.
You know, Dr. Phil really is a pro, so this kid is in really good hands. One thing I gotta point out, though, I mean, not related to the story at all, but this man's golf cart game is strong. I didn't realize till now, but this thing is like lifted on some nice off-roading wheels and has flame decals all around it. If that's what TV money buys you, I just need to start my own show and buy like 4 of these, bruh. Those go so hard.
What do you think about what your son had to say to me as we were riding around the Paramount lot here?
Some of it was hurtful.
Of course, as soon as it cuts to the actual stage and Dr. Phil asks this mom how she feels about it, she just instantly gets all defensive and is all like, wow, some of that was really hurtful. Like, did you not just hear your son open up with Dr. Phil and talk about how he really is doing all of this just for your attention? Like, he just opened himself up there and admitted that he's practically begging you to care about him, and instead you take that as a personal blow? What did this kid do or say that was so wrong, you know? Does he love you so much and want you to be in his life so badly that it offended you? Like, I really am just lost with this woman already. Just please be more involved with your kid, lady. That's all we're asking.
Put my job on hold to be there for him, and then I'll lose everything if I quit my job.
It's a different job.
Okay, you're setting up a paper tiger and then tearing it down.
Dr. Phil is having none of this woman already. I mean, she's talking about how she must need to just up and quit her job to be there for her son. You know, she's sounding a lot like that guy I just made a video on as well that was on Dr. Phil, saying the same thing, and seriously, that is such a whack excuse or way to go about this. Why go to the worst case scenario, you know? This woman has time out of her day for sure to be a parent to this kid, but she's just simply choosing not to. And that all comes down to you, seriously. You don't need to quit your job. Quit being so dramatic. Just try to cut out some more time to have one-on-one with your kid so that he doesn't feel like you and his father forgot about him completely or don't care at all. That's the reason he's acting up so much.
So you have to strike a balance, right? And right now, does it not appear to you that this is out of balance?
It is.
It really is all about creating a balance, and this is something that so many people just don't understand, and I think a lot of people on his show don't understand this either. I'm not going to act all high and mighty either and act like my life is in balance, because it's not, but you'd think that someone of this woman's age that has a 14-year-old son would be able to think introspectively enough and realize what needs to be done here. She has to find a balance between her son and work because, you know, both things are obviously important for different reasons, and instead she's just choosing to focus on work and completely let her relationship with her child fall by the wayside.
Are you actually trying to run up the number of police reports to hit a threshold where they'll take him to juvie?
Well, that's the thing people can do? What? Why would this mom want to write up so many police reports that her son has to be hauled away to kid jail? Is she just thinking that that's going to be the best thing that keeps him busy while she can work hard, you know, so she doesn't have to focus on him? Because if you're having to choose between sending your kid off to jail or just some reformation place, I don't know what they're called, or actually having to spend time with him, you have just utterly failed as a parent. That should never be a decision you have to make.
What you said was, I'm trying to build a case so they will put him in juvenile detention. And then I found out they may only put an ankle monitor on him.
Who even is this woman, dude? Like, imagine being bummed out that your kid can't get hauled off to jail by the police, and instead he just has a measly ankle monitor put on him. I get that he's probably a wicked kid to have to take care of, and he's getting in tons of trouble, and that's frustrating and all. But seriously, dude, it seems like such a far place to take it when you don't have to. Why not just talk to your kid and spend time with him so he spends less time out with his friends doing hood rat stuff? I just don't get how she finds any of this to be easier than actually being a parent to this kid.
All he wants is to feel important from you. He doesn't need to deserve clothes for school, right? That's our job, to provide him clothes for school.
I get him.
The other person talking here is this kid's aunt, who actually seems to be the only adult in his life that truly seems to care about him. He's been trying to get her to help him do online school or homeschooling because he's afraid of how he'll act up in this alternative school he has to go to. And I don't know, she just seems like a woman that is mature enough to realize that this kid is honest when he says that he seriously just lacks attention, and she's practically pleading with her sister to open up her eyes to the situation instead of just trying to deflect and shut down and get the police involved, which is not the way to go about it, and it just makes everything worse. Dude, it really sounds like this mom is low-key just a bum that uses her son's bad attitude as a way to excuse her extended terrible parenting. I get that not everyone signs out to be a parent, but when you do have a kid and keep it, you have a responsibility to stick with that kid and help teach him right from wrong. Of course, yeah, he's getting into a lot of wrong situations right now, but you can't let that be the primary excuse for why you choose to not be involved with his life or provide for him at all. Also, if you're working so dang much, how come you can't afford to buy him school clothes according to your sister? Like, what a whack mom, bro. It's funny that I thought this video was originally gonna just be Dr. Phil going in on this kid and condemning him for all the stupid stuff he's been doing, because that's usually how it goes. But instead, he's more focused on the mom and her terrible handle on the situation.
He would rather live in a box and have a relationship with his mother than live in a house and you neglect him.
And that is a big ol' steaming pile of facts right there from Dr. Phil. He spells it out clear as day for this woman that she is dropping the ball completely on being this kid's mother and really needs to be more involved and actually care about him so that he stops lashing out or feeling like he needs to run around and cause these problems just for her attention. She's acting like she still has no idea though why her kid is being bad, and she's acting like Dr. Phil isn't helping, but he's literally telling her what she needs to do, but it's just not something she wants to do or hear, so she keeps fighting it. I really don't have much hope for this mother mother, you know, it seems like the rest of this time on stage, she's just been defensive and doesn't really seem like she's going to be open-minded about this. I will update you guys if we get a part 2, but that's about the full extent of what I can find on this without a TV provider login on the internet. You know, Dr. Phil doesn't always upload the full story, but it was interesting enough his approach on this one, so I had to show it with you guys. Anyways, that about does it for today's video. Let me know what you thought down in the comments below, and tell me if you'd accept a ride in Dr. Phil's lifted golf cart. I know I would, even if it meant me having to have my whole life issues brought up and a difficult conversation. As always, I'll see you guys in the next video, and until then, peace out.